Hey everyone, I'm going to take you through 3 of the training drills that I like to do that just mixes up regular bow shooting that I think helps you a lot in the long run. And I'll take you through these 3 different training techniques that I like to shoot my bow, and hopefully maybe you can apply them to your practicing and make you a better shot. So a great way to practice is, I call just a 1 arrow shot. You get 1 shot and then you go get your arrow. You got to really put yourself in a situation where you're actually in the stand, like you're shooting at the target that you're shooting at, and you get 1 shot, so you got to make it count. So I like to do this where I take my time, I take my shot, I go check it out, and I'll do that a couple times. I'll do that 5 or 6 times, and then maybe I'll switch up to another drill. But the goal of it is to make your 1 shot count, because when it comes down to it, you're probably only going to get 1 shot. Here's my 1 shot. I'm shooting at 30 yards and it looks pretty good. I'm in the lower back part of the heart. Nonetheless, it's exactly where I'm aiming on this target. So I'm gonna do this 5 or 6 times and then I'll probably switch up the drills. All right, moving on to the second practice drill I like to do. This one works on your strength, obviously, because you're gonna be holding the bow for a certain amount of time. So I'm gonna go on my phone here and pull up my timer app. And this can be completely custom to whatever you want to start with. If you have never tried this before, maybe start a little shorter and work your way up. This is my first time doing it this season, so I'm just starting at 45 seconds. So by the time I get my bow pulled back, I will probably have about a 40-second draw. And once my alarm goes off, then I take my shot. Pretty much simulating you're drawn back on a deer and you're holding, waiting for that deer to get in the right spot to work on, again, your strength and to make sure you're not shaking real bad when the time comes to shoot. So let's try this out. Whew. Now the objective is to obviously let the timer go off, refocus in, take your time and make your shot. I was very shaky there, so I can tell, and as you can tell, the arrow is high and way right. So I need a lot of work in this drill. And again, this is my first time doing this drill this year, so I'm gonna obviously keep working on it, and I wanna get that consistent pattern, you know, of like a baseball or a softball by the time this is all said and done. Okay, so my third and probably my favorite shooting drill is a long range shot. Now unfortunately I can't do that here in my home range because I can only shoot to 30 yards due to my fence and houses around me, so you have to go to somewhere you can actually shoot far. But I will say I have a 60-yard pin on my bow, so comfortably I can practice out to 60 yards, and really I can go even further once I learn what the spacing is beyond that. However, if you're training at 60, and so like personally I'm comfortable shooting at a deer at 40 yards. I don't like to really shoot past 40, too much can happen. I know it can be done, and I'm actually, when I'm dialed in, I'm pretty good at 50, but I just don't like to take that chance on wounding an animal or something going crazy. But I like to practice at 60 as much as I can, because when you're making those shots at 60 and you can get that pattern down to the size of a softball or a paper plate, shooting at 20 and 30 is gonna be a drop in the bucket. So it's really good to practice long distance. Unfortunately, I can't do that here, so I strongly suggest getting to somewhere, a range, or if you have access to just a really big open field, maybe put up a backstop if you're nervous about it so you don't lose arrows, but maybe stack a couple targets in an area, so if you miss a little bit, maybe hit the other target. But if you're practicing at 60, it's gonna really help you shooting at 40, 30, and especially at 20. And the further you shoot, the easier your up close shots are going to be, making your ideal hunting shots that much easier for you. Okay, fourth, I like to do what I call the stack and pass. So I try to stack 2 arrows in the same spot as close as I can, and then I pass to the next one, because I find a lot of the times if I'm shooting more than 2 arrows at one spot, and it still happens with 2 at one spot, that I'll nick an arrow, shoot off a fletching, I'll hurt the arrow in some way or form. So I just try to get that consistency built. Boom, boom, move to target. Boom, boom, move to target. So that's what I'm gonna go for right now. I'm gonna shoot 4 arrows, pick a dot, shoot at it, shoot 2 at one dot, and then shoot 2 at another dot, and we'll see where we're at, what I call the stack and pass. Okay. So those are my 4 training drills that I like to really hit in the summer, when the off season, when I'm training for deer season. So if you haven't already sighted your bow in, check out my last video on how to sight in your bow. If you're looking for some tips and pointers there, a lot of good information in there if you're new to the sport, and check it out. If not, I hope you're practicing and getting all your summer practice in, even in this brutal heat. We're in the middle of a heat wave here in Missouri, but we're gonna break through and we'll be hitting the food plots really soon. I hope you've enjoyed these bow shooting tips, and we'll see you in the next one.